Our look at Jakks Classic Superstars continues. Today on the channel, we look at Classic Superstars Series 19. Welcome everyone back to the channel. Kyle here as always, and we are continuing our look at the Jakks Classic Superstars series today. Jakks Classic Superstars Series 19. If you've missed any of the previous videos, 1 through 18 so far, and we're going through all of them. You guys know we're going to do the limited edition, the rings, the 1 of 100s, the best of series, the 2-packs, the 3-packs, the single packs, and everything in between. If you missed any of them, go back. You can watch 1 through 18, jump on board now, and every Tuesday we're going to come out with a new video, and like I keep saying, it's probably going to be until end of first quarter 2021. We got a lot of videos still to do, but hopefully you guys are enjoying those. A lot of great feedback on these Class Superstars videos. I think it's enough time has passed. A lot of us enjoy reminiscing and going back and looking at them and jogging a lot of memories, that is for sure. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell, like the video, comment on here. I always love the commentary on the Classic Superstars videos especially. But today, like I said, we're going to jump into Classic Superstars Series 19, one of the last really big sets of Classic Superstars. You know, the 10 people set, 11 people sets, they really dwindled down at the end. We got another one somewhere in the mid-20s. It's a pretty hefty, big set. But after this, we get a lot of, you know, smaller series. Never really understood that. I think part of that is they've had guys planned at the last minute. They got axed for one reason or another. But that's just the way it goes. But another big set, another lot of guys in this one. So let's jump into it. We're going to start with one of my favorites, a heavy hitter, Cactus Jack. I loved Cactus Jack back to the GWF days as a little kid running home from school to watch ESPN. I got out of school at 3:10 as a kid, and it took me about 5 minutes. It was a 5-minute run home, and I would sprint home. I would get home about 3:16, 3:17. Usually around the first commercial break is when I'd get home. But I'd watch GWF. I'd watch the AWA. I believe USWA was on ESPN in the afternoons too. Followed up by old monster trucks, where USA 1, my favorite monster truck back in the day, would always take it to the grave diggers and Bigfoots of the world. But a lot of good memories running home. And GWF is where I first saw Mick Foley, Cactus Jack. Followed him into WCW, ECW, and then I remember him going to be Mankind WWF and thinking, oh, why were they going to ruin this character? Obviously, Mankind was great, and he went back to the Cactus Jack persona quite a few times over the years, but my definite favorite character of Mick Foley is Cactus Jack. So many great memories, just so far ahead of the game back in the day. I remember as a kid in high school, VHS tapes. I had a guy in Japan I'd trade back and forth with. I remember getting the IWA King of the Deathmatch tournament with Terry Funk, my all-time favorite. So just a lot of great Cactus Jack memories over the years. And this figure was a slam dunk. I absolutely love this from the get-go. Love it to this day. This is right up there. This is either the best or the second best Cactus Jack figure ever in my book. Just absolutely love this one. We also, and we'll get to it in the limited edition line, there's not a knockoff, but a yin to the yang. There's a Toy Fair exclusive one of these that we'll talk about too. But I absolutely love this figure. There he is right there. Comes with the barbed wire bat. Love the boots on him. That's one of the differences from the other one. He's got his tongue sticking out through his top 2 teeth, which is great attention to details. We all know Cactus Jack would do that from time to time. Great likeness, just a great all-around figure, and one of the sleeper figures of not just Jakks Class Superstars, Jack's entire run. You got the soft goods shirt on there, just an all-around slam dunk figure. Couldn't ask for more. Cactus Jack on the side. And there he is on the other side there. And the back with the whole lineup. We're going to walk through every single one of these. A lot of great figures in this lineup. Let's read the back on Cactus Jack here. Debuted in 1983, 297 pounds, 6'2", finishing move the double arm DDT, titles, WWE World Heavyweight Champion, World Tag Team Champion, and Hardcore Champion. The prototype looks pretty much spot on to what we got. I love that we got the Bang Bang fingers with this one. Just great attention to detail. I know a lot of people pile on Jakks for a lot of their figures, but when they hit a slam dunk, man, do they hit a slam dunk. This is a solid figure. And like I said before, a must-have in the line. So there it is, Cactus Jack. Let's look at the next one. All right, next up is the LJN-inspired Mankind figure. Well, we just saw Cactus Jack, now we get to see Mankind. This could be, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, the first time two of his personas have been released in the exact same set. I don't believe that happened before. We did see a Bone Crunchers 3-pack, which I don't count that, but as far as single-carded releases, releasing one in the same set, kind of cool. I would have said, hey, you know, John Cena, I think, is the LJN one in the next set. Flip-flop those two. Have a Mankind and a Cactus Jack. I don't know. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. But we got Mankind here. We went over this. One of the first videos we did about the Classic Superstars, we did a deep dive where we looked at every single LJN-inspired figure. We looked at that, so we won't spend a ton of time on this one. He's in the blue packaging, the LJN throwback packaging. Only downfall of this one, it's one of the smaller LJN inspired. It's a pretty small sized figure. Mankind on the side. Right there, he's got the tie with the smiley faces on it. I mean, you definitely know it's Mankind right off the bat when you see it. There he is on the top. Let's see what it says. Debuted 1983, 297, 6'2". Finishing move, the Mandible Claw, double arm DDT. World Heavyweight Champion, World Tag Team Champion, Hardcore Champion. So pretty much spot on to that Cactus Jack 2-pack on the back. Pretty much all the same info as it should be, except they added the Mandible Claw. So very cool there. Not a lot to say about this one, so let's move on to the next one. All right, next up, we've got one of my all-time favorites back from when I was a kid, and I got a little bit of a love-hate relationship with this figure, and that is Nikita Koloff, the Russian from the NWA, WCW. Absolutely loved Nikita as a kid. You know, he was right up there with Sting, the Road Warriors, all my NWA favorites. Just a big, brooding powerhouse guy. I remember when he turned good, we all couldn't believe it. Just absolutely love Nikita Koloff. It is a crime we haven't had more Nikita Koloff figures. That is one Mattel I think could knock out of the park. Fingers crossed we get that one day. I would love a black singlet Nikita Koloff, kind of from his good guy run in the 90 WCW early time. I really loved that incarnation of him as well. We got this red singlet one. We also get a 2-pack, which we'll get to in the 2-pack series, of this figure with Ivan Koloff. A little disappointing to me that we didn't get a totally different version in the 2-pack. Nothing you can do now, but one other thing that I do not like about this figure is they made him too small. He was a big guy. He was like a Road Warrior size guy, and they kind of made him a cruiserweight type size. So there it is. Comes with his chain, the Russian chain. A little cheap there. That's more of like a John Cena lock he'd wear around his neck. Really kind of Jack's cheaping out there. So that's a little disappointing. I get they tried to make it a chain, but they should have done something. Give him the Junkyard Dog chain if you had to. But give him something a little bit better than that. But a little bit of a plain figure. A great head scan on this one. I mean, not his best, but there hasn't been a whole lot of Nikita figures over time. There he is there. Can you imagine Nikita Koloff against Hulk Hogan in the mid-'80s in WWF? How good of a match that would have been. I don't know if it would have been great, but it would have been an epic battle, America versus Russia and all that kind of stuff. So there's the back there. Let's see if the prototype had any variants. So the prototype, they gave him an actual chain, as you can see there. So I don't know what happened there. They cheaped out with this lock, but we would have all preferred that chain. That made a whole lot more sense. Would have looked way better in the package. No paint app issues on this one. But it's Nikita Koloff. It's one that we desperately need an update from. Mattel, I know you watch every single one of these videos, so please get working on a Nikita Koloff for your boy Kyle. I would appreciate it. On the back, here we go again. Nikita Koloff debuted in 1999. What a year. Kyle graduating high school. His childhood favorite, Nikita Koloff, decided to finally wrestle apparently in 1999. A little off there. Weight 285 pounds, 6'3". Finishing move, the Russian sickle. Never forget that clothesline. Super dangerous. Put it right up there with Stan Hansen's clothesline. So there you go. But there it is, Nikita Koloff, one of my absolute favorite wrestlers ever. And like I keep saying, please get us an Elite. We need an updated Nikita. Let's look at the next one. All right, next up in Jakks Classic Superstars Series 19, we have Tatanka, which is a sleeper one for the Jakks Classic Superstars set. Definitely a classic superstar, kind of at the end of the golden age of the WWF. I always think of Tatanka, start of the new generation time frame. But Tatanka was a true classic superstar that deserved to be in this lineup. We later got a Mattel figure from him, and then just recently announced in the last week, we got Legends Series 9 Tatanka, his debut attire with tights coming. So a lot of Tatanka news. Jakks in the Ruthless Aggression line, as some of you guys remember, Tatanka came back for a brief stint in the mid-2000s. We did get an older version of Tatanka, which I thought was always a cool figure. I really recommend that one. But this Tatanka figure is awesome. I love this Tatanka figure. I love the soft goods skirt. I don't know what you call it. There's probably a better name for it, skirt. And then he's got the frill down there on his boots. Great mohawk, bright red, got the blue wrist gauntlets. Just a slam dunk of a figure, and a sleeper one. A lot of people don't remember this figure a whole lot, but I love this figure. A little crazy with the bow and arrow, getting a little too stereotypish, I think, on that one a little bit. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember Tatanka coming to the ring with a bow and arrow ever. Maybe he did. We've seen him with a tomahawk, which Mattel gave him, but I don't recall this bow and arrow. They got a few uses out of that bow and arrow after the years. I think the Ruthless Aggression arrow one came with that as well. There it is. So you can see they got the Classic Superstar Series 19 at the top. I always loved how they numbered that. There is the back. A little glamour shot of Tatanka back there. Let's see, does it vary from the prototype? Pretty much spot on the prototype. Yeah, 100% spot on. Very solid figure, like I said. Tatanka debuted 1992, 285 pounds, 6'2". Finishing move, the Tomahawk Chop. So I definitely recommend, like I said, sleeper figure. A lot of people have forgotten about this one over the years. I doubt it's super pricey, but I like this one. I think this holds up right there with the Mattel, and I probably agree, this one's a little bit better than the Mattel one, if you can believe that. So there you have it, Classic Superstars Series 19, Tatanka. Let's take a look at the next one. All right, next up in Series 19, we have another suited figure, and I always talk about how much I love this about the Class Superstars. They didn't just make the wrestlers from all eras, they also made the ring announcers, Howard Finkel, but they made managers, they made commentators, they made a lot of people. It really expanded that line, gave you a breadth of people over the years. As we all know, Howard Finkel is the voice of a lot of our childhoods. A lot of us can hear his voice in our head right now. Howard has died in the last year, which is sad, that's for sure. But this was Howard's first figure. And I remember reading somewhere that this was a huge deal to Howard to get this. I can imagine. How great would it be to get your own figure? That's got to be an honor. And Howard, I think, had this in his office, I heard, was very proud of this figure. You know, in later years, we did get a Mattel Build-A-Figure in the basic line. I always say, Mattel, they should do basics with a little Build-A-Figure piece. That would incentivize people like me who just pick and choose some basics to probably get every single one. If all of a sudden there's a slick basic that you got to buy a set for to build that figure, I'd be picking up all those figures. You know, you could get so many different ring announcers, commentators, you could get a referee, you could get a security guard, you could really build out your WWE Universe world. So there you go, that's my recommendation to Mattel. But let's get back to Howard Finkel, announcer to the Stars. Very similar to the Mean Gene Okerlund figure, different bow tie color, but basically the same. So this is a very cheap figure to produce. Comes with his microphone, of course. He has to have that microphone. That makes total sense. Howard Finkel on the side. Picture on the other side. Great likeness. You know who that is if you're a longtime wrestling fan. And then there's the picture on the back. Whole lineup there. Howard Finkel. Love this figure. Very, very solid. Debuted 1976. 170 pounds. 5'8". Titles. WWE ring announcer, WWE's first and longest lasting employee. So I love they put that little blurb on the back there. A lot of people didn't know that he was the first employee and the one that lasted the longest. But very cool to see Howard Finkel in figure form for the first time back in the day. I remember getting this announcement of this lineup saying, whoa, how cool is that? We're going to get a Howard Finkel ring announcer figure. You know, maybe some of the more casual fans could care less and it's an easy pass for them. But like I said, this is really what rounds out the Classic Superstars and makes the set what it is. Just getting these ancillary type characters like this and never knowing who to expect and who to get in the next line. You know, when we get elites now, we for the most part know, okay, you're gonna get a John Cena, a Rock, a Kevin Owens, an AJ Styles, a Finn Balor, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. You know one of those guys are gonna be in every set or every other set. It's the flashback guys, the ones that are the real surprises to us, and that's what this was back in the day. So there you go, Howard Finkel, very solid. Let's see who we got next. All right, Classic Superstars Series 19 continues with Evil Doink the Clown. So we did get Doink the Clown, I believe, back in Series 9. That was more of the nicer Doink the Clown, I guess you would say. He was a heel most of his time, but that was a nicer version where this is the more evil. We later got really cheaped out at the dying days of this line. We got another one very similar, and we'll get to that later. Pretty much this one with a jacket was the only difference, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. But Doink, I always liked Doink's figures. Probably something to do with him having face paint, as I'm a sucker for the face paint. You guys know that. There you go. There he is right there. Very colorful figure, that is for sure. I always like the looks of this. The orange and the blue really pop with the green hair. I was going to say, I couldn't remember if it was real hair. It's molded on green hair. He does come with the Tag Team Championship. I don't remember him being a Tag Team Champion. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe he won it there, but I do not remember him being a Tag Team Champion at all. But it's still a cool figure. There it is, Evil Doink. So you know he's evil because it says evil on the side. But there he is, Clownomania, running wild. There he is on the back. You got the whole lineup below. Let's read about him. What's it say? Debuted 1993, 240 pounds, height 6 feet tall, finishing move, the whoopee cushion, and the stump puller. Pretty much the same as his prototype on the back. The only difference was they added knee pads to him. But like I said, I like this figure. I think it's a really cool one. Probably the one they released later on, which is exactly the same, is probably a little better because it does come with a coat. But that being said, I do like this one. I don't know about the tag team title. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but I could be wrong. I could just maybe not remember him having a tag title run with somebody. Maybe him and Dink set the world on fire as a tag team, and I just don't remember that tag team title win. But I'm pretty sure they don't. So, in the back, I didn't mention, it does say, watch for more of your favorite classic superstars from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And early 2000s as well, as we have seen. So there you have it. There is Doink, a solid one in the lineup. Let's see who we got next in Classic Superstars Series 19. All right, Classic Superstars Series 19 continues with another heavy hitter, The Rock. You know, The Rock was on fire during this time. The more Rock figures, the better is what everybody thought, I think. And this is Rock from his first big go, when he first started getting really popular. We'll take a peek here. He comes with the Intercontinental title. Take a look there. And there's the side. The other side. Very plain figure. No big coat. There's no jacket. No shirt. Just the Intercontinental title. There he is on the back. I'm going to read the back here. Oh, debuted 1997. 260 pounds. 6'5", finishing move, the rock bottom, the people's elbow. Titles, WWE Champion, Intercontinental Champion, World Tag Team Champion. Always liked the sideburn era of Rock. That was always my favorite. Now, one gripe about this, and there was not a gripe when 19 came out, so maybe I'll save it more for Series 20 when we get to it. They released this exact same figure in the next set, Series 20, with a different belt. That was the day of what is going on. That was kind of the start that, hey, something's not right here. And we got some more of that with the big show, the Doink I mentioned, and a few other things. And we'll get to it when we get there. But as this released, we liked this one. We thought, hey, this is great. We're getting this Rock. So there you have it there. He does got the Rock on his tights, knee pads, elbow pads, what have you. But a little bit of a plain Rock, but definitely warrants the Classic Superstars moniker and in the packaging here. And happy got this one. The next one, not so happy, but we'll get to that next week in Series 20. But there you have it. There he is, The Rock, Series 19. All right, Series 19 continues with Kevin Sullivan, one of the greatest stars ever, one of the best minds for the business, as they say. A brawler. We used to wear face paint, which I really loved him back then, that's for sure. Just loved Kevin Sullivan back in the day, and it's kind of surprising, but I guess maybe not. But I would love to see a Mattel Elite of Kevin Sullivan. He seems to have kind of been forgotten. He was in ECW for a little bit, WCW, NWA, Georgia, Florida, but never had a real WWE run. He might have had some shows maybe way back in the day, but nothing of note, nothing long runs, anything like that. That probably stops him from getting a figure, but you know, AEW, Jazzwares, if they do come out with a Classic Superstars type line for them, I'd have to believe we'll see a Kevin Sullivan somewhere in that line. He is too important to the wrestling business to not have an updated figure, and this one was one I was so excited for when it came. And they went all out with this one. They gave him his robe. The only gripe I always had with this figure is he's so tall. As you know, Kevin Sullivan's not the tallest guy. But they made him a little bit taller, but Jakks did that a lot. And this is days before scale. There was no scale in toys. So you can't beat on him too much about these. Obviously, we knew at the time, hey, this manager shouldn't be taller, but nobody was doing scales differently at the time. For the most part, within reason. But here you go. Here's Kevin Sullivan. Love that red and black robe. Comes with a microphone. We all know Kevin was a talker on the mic. Wrestler, manager. He always kind of reminded me of the Pete Rose of wrestling. Back in the 80s when Pete Rose was the coach of the Reds and playing, Kevin Sullivan was kind of that way. He was wrestling, he was booking, he was managing, he was announcing a little bit. He just was a jack of all trades way back in the day. So there you go, Kevin Sullivan. There he is on the side. Kevin Sullivan, I think his only other figures were WCW OSFTM figures. I think he had 2 of those. I don't recall him having any other figures outside of that. Kevin Sullivan debuted 1992. Well, that's not right. It was probably early 80s at least. Weight 240 pounds, 5'11", and I think that's being generous on the 5'11". Finishing move, the double stomp. Titles, World Tag Team Champion. I have to think he had more titles than that, but that's all they're listing. So it's got to be true, right? So I don't know. But I do have a loose version of this one. You guys know with my Classic Superstars, guys that have never had another figure or haven't had one, or I don't think they'll have one, I usually try to pick up a loose one that blend in with kind of my Legends and Mattel sets. And that's exactly what I did with this Kevin Sullivan. I can't tell you from personal experience, this coat does stain the plastic, which is unfortunate. So I'm guessing if I would open this guy up, his whole plastic would be stained from the robe. You hate to see that, that's for sure. There's got to be some way to avoid that. You know, we're seeing that all the way to today with Mattel. Mattel seem to have learned their lesson, putting the robes to the side and shirts to the side. However, if you put them on, they're still going to stain. So we need to fix that technology. Something needs to change there. But there you have it. Kevin Sullivan, one of the forgotten ones of the Classic Superstars series, and one I highly recommend. So there you have it. Kevin Sullivan. All right, we're down to our final 2 in the Classic Superstars Series 19, and this one is Eddie Guerrero. A lot of excitement around this figure when it was announced, as it was not going to be Eddie Guerrero, technically. This was going to be Black Tiger, his New Japan persona when he used to wear the tiger mask. That was what this figure was going to be. That's the outfit we got. We just didn't get the masked head. I heard back in the day there was some licensing issues. I believe there was even a prototype shown with the mask on. So I would have loved that. That would have taken this figure to the next level. We've never got that figure with Eddie Guerrero, and that would have been a huge coup for Jakks to have done that. Unfortunately, it just was not meant to be, but I would have loved to have seen that incarnation over in Eddie Guerrero when we've already had a few Eddie Guerreros that are kind of similar to this. But, you know, Eddie Guerrero is extremely popular, so a lot of people probably still do like this figure. But I think it would have been much cooler if he would have came with his mask. There you go. There's Eddie Guerrero. It comes with that patented black chair that, you know, Eddie loved black chairs. I heard over the years that he would only sit in black chairs before matches. It was superstitious. Some of the superstitions he had before a match, he felt like he could never have a good match unless he sat in a black chair in the locker room before the match. I could be wrong on that. Somebody fact check that, but I'm pretty sure that's right. There's Eddie on the side. And of course, we got him on the back, the old glamour shot. And there's that glamour shot. Let's see what it says. Eddie Guerrero debuted in 2000. So maybe that was his WWE debut. Definitely wasn't his wrestling debut. Weight 220 pounds, 5'8". Finishing move, the frog splash and the lasso from El Paso. Titles, WWE World Heavyweight Champion, WWE Intercontinental Champion, WWE United States Champion, and WWE Tag Team Champion. Looking at the back on the prototype, no differences. No mask shown on the prototype. That would have been something if on the back he had the mask and then he didn't come with it, but it seemed like it didn't get down the line that far. But what could have been with this one, like a few of the other ones over the years, but it is what it is. There's no change in history. I would love to see Eddie with mask one day. I don't know if it'll ever happen. It's pretty niche and probably too deep a cut for most people, but we'll take it. We'll take this Eddie Guerrero. But we got one left. We got probably the favorite one of the set left. Well, let's take a look at him. All right, the last one in Series 19 is probably my favorite of the set, and one of the most toyetic figures in the Jakks Classic Superstars years, and one I think we're dying for a Mattel version of. This era of wrestling, the early 90s WWF, I think there's a lot of Mattel Elite flashbacks and guys that are screaming for figures, and Atom Bomb is one of those guys. I remember when Atom Bomb debuted, I said, who is this big, colorful dude? Holy cow. We saw him, I believe, wasn't he the Night Stalker or something like that in WCW before this? If my memory serves me right. He might have been in even USWA or GWF. That was my first incarnation of him. Later he was in Chronic with Bryan Adams in WCW. But Atom Bomb is probably what most people remember him for. Just a big, muscled up dude. Bright colors, the goggles which he comes with. Throwing out those Atom Bomb footballs. We get a Mattel version, put that in there as a little Easter egg from the merch stand stuff. But absolutely love this figure. He's got his teeth sticking out. Or his tongue sticking out. He's got his goggles on. The really cool pose. A little smaller of a figure than he probably should be. He was a big jacked up dude. Big tall dude. Atom Bomb. There's the glamour shot on the side without the goggles on. This is one that is a pretty penny on the aftermarket. This is probably the most expensive one in this set, and one of the most expensive all around. And part of that, I think, is he's never had another figure. That'll always do it. So we need another Atom Bomb update. Let's see what it says about him here. Debuted 1991, 290 pounds, 6'6". Finishing move, the Meltdown. Titles, World Tag Team Champion. I don't remember him being a WWE Tag Team Champion. WCW, I think he had the titles with Chronic, with Bryan Adams for a little bit. But is there a more toyetic figure? I mean, he's one that just screams off the shelf. I think Mattel would do a great job with an Elite version of him. I don't know what the holdup is. I expect that but in the later half of 2021 or else. But love Atom Bomb. Love that they got the tongue sticking out. This is one I do have in my collection as a loose and in card, as you can see here. Had to get this loose one because I just don't know if I'll ever get one from Mattel. I found it at a great value a few years back, and I'm glad I did because, like I said, the price has skyrocketed on Atom Bomb. I think there's enough people out there that would love an Atom Bomb. So there you have it. So Classic Superstars Series 19, like I said, a big set, a 10-guy set. Notice no females in this set, which is interesting. I believe the last set, Series 18, we got 2 females with Sunny and Mae Young. This time, no females included. Is what it is. But we'll be back next week with Series 20. We got some deep discussions to do on that Rock that drives me nuts and a few other figures in there as well, as you'd expect. So hopefully you guys like this video. Comment, let me know your thoughts. Do you have all these? Do you have none of these? Are you looking for these? Do you have them loose? Do you have them in box? What are your thoughts? I'm sure everybody will agree with me that they want a Mattel Elite Atom Bomb. Who wouldn't? I think it needs to happen. You guys tell me in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like I said at the beginning of the video, putting out these videos every Tuesday. We got a new Jakks Classic because we're going to go through all of them. Every single one. So you don't want to miss one. You don't want to miss Series 20 and then all of a sudden end up in Series 21 or 22. That'd be a huge miss on your part. So don't do it. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification. Share this video. Let's get it. Let's train everybody. You guys and me, we all love our Jakks Classic Superstars. Let's get everybody else on board. Let's teach some people that are new collectors about the history and one of the most famous lines of all time. I think by the time it's all said and done, I think you guys that watch these videos will agree with me. You're going to have your LJNs, you're going to have your Hasbros, and you're going to have your Classic Superstars as, some of the big 3 of 5 collection series over the years. A lot of fondness for these. The package uniformity, I think, is a part of it that brings it all together. But that's just me. So share this video. Tell a friend. Let's let everybody know about these Jakks Classic Superstars videos. And until then, I'm Kyle. This was Series 19. We're going to see you next week for Series 20. And I'll see you guys all real soon.